Children! The worst thing ever invented by humankind. Loud, selfish, they can't lend you money, they've got no good stories, their favourite way of learning about something is to break it. Long and short of it is, hanging out with kids sucks, especially when it comes to board games, because there's only so many times you can play Monopoly Junior Disney Princess Edition before you swan dive into traffic. But here's the thing, games you play with your kids don't have to be simple to the point of a snakes and ladders-induced coma. There's a whole bunch of light family games out there that manage to be both easy enough for a kid to grasp, whilst also fun for the parent involved. Let us single-handedly save your family. You're welcome. This is a collection starter, and here are 10 great board games for parents to play with their kids. Side note, the presence of a child is not required to enjoy any of these games. In fact, it's strongly discouraged. Keep them in the cupboard under the stairs where they belong. Why are you booing me? I'm right. Number 10, Qwirkle. It's difficult to play Scrabble with a child unless you're a fan of seeing how many times you can legally play the word bum in a Scrabble game. Qwirkle brands itself as Scrabble for people who can't spell, and it's not only a lighter version of that game, but quicker with far fewer periods of downtime as someone stares at their letterboard desperately trying to spell anything other than poo. In Qwirkle, you play lines of blocks onto the table with the following simple rules. You can only play a line where every block is either the same colour or the same shape, and you get points for how many blocks end up in the line, with bonus points if you complete a full row of 6. It's as simple as that. You build up a Scrabble-like network of these blocks, great for teaching kids set collection, hand management, when to save, when to play, whilst also being an engaging puzzle for older players. Number 9, Labyrinth. There aren't many classic family games that stand the test of time. Many of them involve rolling dice, moving around a board over and over again until it's time to reach for a bottle of Mummy and Daddy's special forbidden fruit juice. Labyrinth is the rare classic that's actually fun. In front of you is a board covered with loads of tiles that build to create pathways throughout a maze. Before the game starts, you're dealt a bunch of secret treasure cards that one by one you have to travel to in this maze. Chances are your way there will be blocked, so every turn you take the maze tile not currently in play and push it onto the board. Pushing the tile has the effect of moving all the tiles in that row, creating new pathways, blocking others off, and occasionally knocking your opponent's piece off the board and teleporting them to the other side. Bad luck, little man. Pay rent if you want me to take it easy on you. Because your trip through the maze can be completely ruined by everyone else, every turn is compelling, causing you to either laugh in triumph or hold your head in your hands. Number 8, Click Clack Lumberjack. Kids like hitting things. They are monsters, unapologetic monsters. Thank goodness then for Click Clack Lumberjack that A, gives kids an outlet to hit things, but B, teaches them the value of pulling their punches. The game revolves around this tree. Standing in the middle of the table, on your go, you get control of this adorable little axe, and you can hit that tree precisely twice. What you want is to hit a slice of tree hard enough so that a little piece of bark drops off. Bark gives you points, but not so hard an entire circular core section of the tree falls and hits the table. Anything that hits the table on your turn, you keep. Bark will net you 1 point, whereas bits of core will deduct 5 massive points. Whoever has the most points when all the bark is off the tree wins. It's a version of Jenga that prioritizes restraint and precision over destruction, which makes it a great game for kids, and even better for the parent who will eventually be on cleanup duty. Number 7, Hey That's My Fish. Family games don't have to be friendly, don't know why they would, can't imagine anything less friendly than a family, and if you want a game that manages to be just the right amount of mean, then you need to try Hey That's My Fish. The game takes place on this grid of fish, and each player controls 2 to 4 penguins. On your turn, you simply move your penguin, taking away and keeping the tile that penguin started on, and then move that penguin in a straight line. Each tile is worth either 1, 2, or 3 points, most points at the ends wins. Movement-wise, you can't go through other penguins, and this is crucial, you can't move over gaps in the ice, which means if you play your penguins right and remove the right tiles at the right time, you can lock off a huge section of the ice all for yourself, or even better, trap your opponent's penguins on a tiny corner of the map, essentially taking that Pingu out of the game. Whoops, did I do that? Perfect for kids who can handle a bit of parental betrayal, and heck, even if they can't, life sucks, kid. Here ends the lesson.
Life sucks, and then you die.
Number 6, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. We've covered a bunch of really light games so far, so now a little something for the slightly older kids. Children really like Harry Potter, Expelliarmus, Alakazam, and other made-up words. You might be tempted to buy your little wizard fan something like Harry Potter Cluedo, but you know you can do better than that. Step right up, Hogwarts Battle, which is a co-op game about defending locations from the Potterverse from dark wizards. You play as either Ron, Harry, Hermione, or Neville, all praise the long bottom, with your own special deck. Kids are like that, and on your turn, you can spend influence to obtain cards that'll make your deck stronger and stronger, all while trying to survive dark arts cards, helping each other out, and defeating baddies. If that's not enough, it's also a campaign game, so you'll be playing through a series of boxes, one for each book in the series, opening them up to reveal new locations, villains, other cards. Kids are like that. It's a really nice introduction to deck building, campaigning, and co-op, and it'll be way more exciting to Potter fans than just another reskinned version of Trivial Pursuit. Number 5, Forbidden Island. And speaking of co-ops, if there's one thing that's really vital to teach kids while they're young, it's the value of teamwork. We've covered a whole mess of amazing co-ops in another list, but they might be a shade too complex for a child. However, Forbidden Island might just be one of the best entry points for young gamers in terms of simple strategy, whilst also being punishing enough to engage older players. In the game, you're trapped on this island that's very slowly sinking into the sea. Don't you just hate it when that happens during a holiday? To win, you have to move around that island, collecting enough cards in order to cash in a set of 4 matching ones for one of these treasures. Get all 4 treasures and then get to the chopper. Job done. However, every turn, parts of the island will sink, especially when these Waters Rise cards randomly show up. And if you don't hop around, bailing these places out, certain tiles will disappear and you risk getting trapped. You need to cooperate and coordinate to succeed, making it very similar to Pandemic, same designer, so go figure, but it's stripped right down to its basics, making it clear enough for even young kids to start coming up with their own game plans. Number 4, mental blocks. Kids love playing with blocks, the little idiots. Wouldn't catch me doing something like that. I'm over here building a Lego Death Star like an adult. Mental Blocks is a puzzle game for slightly older kids that actually has a really nice difficulty curve to it. Each game you'll be challenged to build a bunch of blocks together in a certain formation. However, you don't know what that formation exactly is. Each player will be given their own card, which will show them this formation from precisely one perspective, giving clues as to which blocks and colours are in front of each other or behind. Maybe this card shows the structure from the left, maybe from above, you don't know. And without actually looking at other players' cards, you have to communicate with each other and work together to build this structure so it satisfies every single viewpoint. It's a really adaptable system as well. You can play just the game normally if you've got young kids, or if you're looking for a challenge, you can play with certain restrictions like you can't talk, or you can only move blocks of a certain color. Really, really fun. And even if your kids aren't good at the game, it's also just a nice collection of foam blocks. Blocks are fun. Number 3, the Hare and the Tortoise. Racing games are a huge part of board gaming history. The Game of the Goose, Snakes and Ladders, Candyland, being the first to get to a place has always been a major aspect of board gaming, but it's also super easy for them to be boring. Thank goodness then for the Hare and the Tortoise. Not Hare and Tortoise, that's a different game. In The Hare and the Tortoise, you'll build a track for these 5 races: tortoise, hare, fox, wolf, and sheep. And instead of controlling just one character yourself, each turn you might move a different creature, whilst having secretly bet before the race starts which 1 or 2 creatures you want to win. Each turn you can play 1 to 4 movement cards, but only of one character type. So maybe you can play 3 fox cards, or 2 sheep, 1 hare, but you can't mix and match. Then, when everyone's played cards for that round, each character moves, and here's the really fun bit. Each character moves according to different rules. The hare moves quickly, but if he moves too much while he's out in front, he won't move at all. The tortoise will move 1 space every turn, regardless of whether or not someone plays a card. The sheep moves super quickly, but has to stop at every stream because he's a thirsty little sheep. Look at him, you thirsty little sheep. And the wolf moves slowly, but you can also paralyze other racers in fear. Players can mess up your plans. There's an element of bluffing because you're backing characters in secret, and the way the different movement rules can ping off each other makes each turn a lot of fun. Very addictive little game. Number 2, King of Tokyo. Hooray for violence! King of Tokyo is just cool. You each play as different giant monsters rampaging through Tokyo, biffing each other, earning points, and very subtly teaching your kids how to play Yahtzee. Each turn, you'll roll these chunky dice. They are so heavy. Rolling them feels awesome. I am also a child. You can keep them or re-roll any number of them up to twice. You'll end up with a collection of dice rather like a hand of poker, and based on which symbols you've collected, they'll do different things. A collection of numbers will earn you victory points which you need to win. Hearts can heal your monster. If you lose all your health, you're out. Lightning symbols can earn you these little cubes that'll let you buy cards that do cool things. Or this symbol, the claw symbol, will let you attack. If you're not in Tokyo, you'll attack the monster that is in Tokyo. They'll lose health. But if you're the monster that's in Tokyo, you'll attack everybody else, which gives you a super fun choice to make. Do you stay in Tokyo earning points for controlling the city and dealing damage to other players, but also soaking up all the punches from everyone else on their turn? Or do you yield Tokyo to heal up and try and roll for points while laying low? This game has sold really well for a good reason. There's a nice selection of stuff to do. Rolling these dice will always feel fun, whether child or adult. The whole push your luck gambling element is really addictive, and you get to play as big monsters that biff each other. What more do you need? And number 1, stuffed fables. Board games aren't just a distraction. Board games are art, and sometimes you stumble across a game that genuinely moves you, taking you on an actual adventure that you don't want to see end. Stuffed Fables is that kind of game. You play as one of a little girl's collection of stuffed toys. They are called Stuffies, and they are adorable. This is Lumpy. I would die for Lumpy. And the game takes the form of a campaign as you travel through your little girl's dreams, protecting her from the nightmares therein. It's wonderful. It's also an adventure book game, a really cool system where you open the book and there you find the map you'll be playing on and the rules for that specific map, depending on which story you're playing in this heartfelt campaign. Each time you'll draw dice from a bag and spend them for a number of different actions, moving around the map, discovering new bits of story, gaining stuffing, which is your health bar, adorable, encouraging each other, completing tasks, paying buttons for more cards, which is adorable, and biffing up horrible creatures because your stuffies are so brave, and I love them so much. Each game you'll have new things to do, different objectives, and new tweaks to gameplay, so it's a really nice way to gradually introduce game complexity to your kids, all while enjoying proper interactive story time with your young'uns, and a really sweet, affecting story at that. Strong recommend. And that's our list. Have you played any games that are a huge hit with kids? Let us know, and if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to No Rolls Barred for more great videos about great board games. Get on board.